Okay, we're recording.
Hello, welcome to our NAWAFL Florida series. It's salon and workshops. And today we're honored to have one of our board members, Denise Cormier Mahoney. And she was actually born in Connecticut, but raised in Canada. And we are fortunate enough that she's part of our NAWAFL Florida artists. She has a Bachelor in Fine Art in printmaking and painting from Nova Scotia. And she also went to College of Art and Design in Halifax. That's in Nova Scotia. The Master of Art Education in Texas University in Lubbock, Texas. And she has done this residency in Kingsbrae and will tell us all about it, about sharing this experience with 5 other artists in residence and how she got into the program. So we welcome you, Denise. Thank you very much for doing this presentation for us today. We're looking forward to learning all about you.
Well, you are very welcome, and I thank you. This is such an honor to share this experience and to encourage all of you really to consider an artist in residence yourselves. I'll give you a little bit of background. I went to the Nova Scotia College of Art and Design, like you said. I majored in printmaking and painting, and then I married an American sailor. And we moved to the United States. We traveled all over the United States and the world. We lived in Italy for a while. And then we settled in Seattle. Really not a place that either one of us really wanted to go. We're both East Coast people. So when it came time to me retiring from teaching art and my husband retiring from Navy support, a job he had gotten after he retired from the Navy, we both decided we were moving East Coast, going back to the East Coast. And the plan was that since his family is in Florida and my family's in Canada, we'd kind of have a place in both places. And I don't really want a snowbird. I'm more here, but we go when it's just unbearably hot here. So when we decided to move, actually, I made the plan. I said, we've been living the 5-year plan for the last 15 years. And it's time to narrow that plan down and make it happen. So I said, we're moving in 2020. That's it. What do you say? And Brian goes, 2020? Sounds like a plan. Well, you know what happened in 2020. Life just went chaos. But in 2018, a friend of mine from Nova Scotia, who also went to the Nova Scotia College of Art and Design, said, there's this brand new artist in residence program in St. Andrews. She's from St. George, which is the little town next to St. Andrews. She said, let's do it together. It'll be fun. You're moving back in 2020. It'll be that summer. Let's have this month of just spending time together. So I said, fine, that's great. So I had to start thinking, because in Canada, they do things differently than here. Here, you apply to call to artists. In Canada, you write proposals for show submissions, ideas about what you would like a show to look like and who's going to be in it with you. So it was a different approach for me. And so I thought, well, I'm moving. I'm already thinking about little girl Denise and teenage Denise. I'm thinking of all the stages of development that I ever was, because I'm returning to the place where all my changes were, if you will. Like the song from Neil Young, all my changes were there. That was kind of how that was happening. So I started thinking, what if I did my proposal on the idea of childhood memories, the idea of reconnecting with people that, to be honest, I haven't aged with. These are people that I knew 35 years ago, went to school with, hung out with, partied with. But then I went away and I would come home, but I would only spend time with family. So I thought, I'm going to do it on childhood memories as a way of reconnecting those people. When I have a show, they'll be able to go, oh yeah, I so can relate to that. Well, when 2020 arrived, I wasn't well, actually, let me back up. I'm going too fast. So the whole process with the Kingsbrae is like most artists in residence. You have to write a proposal, you have to submit your CV, you have to submit a bio and an artist statement and your images. And they say that you mostly get in based on your images. And then the second process after you've chosen is what your proposal is. And they basically said to us in an email that if we were invited to a interview with the founder, that we would be one of the ones that were being considered. So I was overjoyed to hear that I had an interview lined up. And the benefactor is this 92-year-old amazing philanthropist. I mean, just saying, most billionaires buy a yacht. This billionaire built an artist in residence ground. It's a whole complex. So we interviewed and I was comfortable and she was asking me questions and we were just going back and forth. And then the guy who was the grounds, the arts coordinator said, so just want to know, are there any food allergies? And I went, I'm in, I'm in. Yes. So that was probably the most exciting highlight of my artist career, because I developed my entire career, the 20 years we were in Seattle. So I'm relatively new in the last 20 years. So I was excited. Well, of course, 2020 arrived and the residency was canceled. And at the time, I was with 2 Canadians, 2 Americans, and a person from Norway and a person from Hong Kong. And we all got their bios and who, what they did and all that. Well, then now I moved, because part of my proposal was I'm a Seattle artist returning to the province of New Brunswick. So when 2021 arrived, they sent an email and said, I'm so sorry, but we decided to be safe to cancel the international part again. We're going to just invite the New Brunswick artists that have been accepted over the next 2 years, and we're going to conglomerate them in one group. And I said, oh, did you forget that I'm a New Brunswick artist too? And they went, oh, well, yes, we did. And you're welcome to come. So in my mind, it was a better arrangement, because if I'm trying to figure out the art world in the province of New Brunswick for when I'm there, then I need to be with New Brunswick artists so I can network with them. And, when you think about the benefits of an artist in residence program, it's an uninterrupted period of time to work on your proposal. You're collaborating and networking with artists that are like-minded, and you're sharing a glass of wine, talking about your day. It feels like the impressionist just sitting around and doing what artists are meant to do, be inspired and inspire others. And that was probably the highlight of the entire thing. I'm not gonna, let me just give you a little bit of a highlight on who Lucinda Flamer is. She was, I think she's Dutch, but her parents had a summer home in St. Andrews. And St. Andrews is kind of a hill. And on one side is all the downtown, and on the other side is all the mansions and the waterfront view on this side, but there's water on both sides. And her parents owned a piece of property that was top of hill down to bottom of hill. So she decided to take the property her parents had and make a section, and she turned it into a gardens. And it's a New Brunswick tourist attraction to this day. It has 2 world-renowned restaurants on the property. It is, I think there's 45 different gardens. One of them is a sculpture garden. It's very impressive. And it goes from the road all the way down to the water. And then her property is next door, and she goes all the way down to the water, and she has like a 9-course private golf course here. And then the property next is about 27 acres too, and it goes from the big house. It's a huge house, probably 8 bedrooms, 3 living rooms, and it's very impressive. It's huge. And that's where we live. That's where we were given free room and board. And then the yard goes down, looks like a golf course. They mow it every 3 days. It's crazy. And then she built 6 studios on the hill, going down the hill, each with a view of the water and the amphitheater. And at the bottom of the hill, she designed, just in the last few years, 15-seated amphitheaters. So during our group, there were 4 visual artists from New Brunswick. There was 1 singer-songwriter, and there was 1 child's book author. And so at the end of the residency, every Saturday there's guests that come in. They want to see what you're doing. They're just visitors from the town.
Denise,
And they,
can I interrupt?
Sure.
Do you have any pictures or anything like that you could show us?
I'm going to share some pictures in a
Okay.
minute. I just wanted to kind of give a little bit of words and then show you some pictures, and then I'll go into how
Okay.
you guys can apply for this.
Okay, let me know. Let me know so I could share the screen. Make sure that you can share.
Absolutely, I will. Thank you for saying that. And so she designed this amphitheater, and our singer-songwriter was actually able to give a concert there, which was so exciting. It was really cool. But I just want to tell you, when I arrived, the artist, I guess he would be our artistic director. His name is Jeff Slater. He is he's an artist who does something called one continuous line. All his art pieces have one line. He'll show you where it starts and he'll show you where it ends. And a lot of his art is in the mansion there, because he has known Mrs. Flemmer and worked with her on the grounds, designing them for probably the last 15 years. But so I arrived, and 2 men come out, and one is bringing my bags up to my room, and the other one has a golf cart, and he's bringing all my artwork and my supplies to the studio. And then I go in, and there's a barbecue, and all the women artists are there. So it's all women this time, being catered to by 2 men who were bending over backwards. Like, what do you need? Is there something that you need that we can supply for you to set you up for success? And they were amazing. So let me now go to my images. And do I have to have them be on the whole screen? And do I have to push share screen?
Yes, what you want to do, once you have them up on your screen, on your desktop, where you're going to be looking at it, put them on your desktop, or at least the app that's on your desktop, open it, and then we'll have you share. I already set it so you could share. And then you click that image of your app, there you go, you got it.
Okay, so I'm going to open it all the way up. So I just want to show you a little bit. This was a postcard that they made for us for the time that we were there. We were having an open studio. They had 3 open studios to show us what, and here's the grounds. So this is the downtown that I was telling you. This is the top of hill that I was telling you. And this is Mrs. Flemmer's estate. And this is the Kingsbrae Artists in Residence Program estate. So the house is there. You can see all the little studios here.
Beautiful.
This one was mine. I was down by the amphitheater. And then this is the amphitheater.
I think Denise can make the screen larger, right? Full screen, I think.
Yeah.
I am full screen. Let's see.
We don't see it full screen.
I wonder why.
Just
Whoops.
click on your full screen.
Okay, hold on. Oh, you mean,
When you open up this app or your images, just hit full screen on the top. Oh, maybe you are. I don't know.
yeah, let me just play for a minute. All right, for some reason, I'm only seeing a little box. Is that what you guys are seeing as well?
Yeah, you got to open your art. Just open the art up.
Okay.
Just double click the art and open it.
All right, is that better?
It looks like that's gonna be as big as it is. Most people, if you have Denise, make sure that Denise is, you can have her as the, she's pinned, I mean, on your image if you want to see her. But this looks like it's as big as it's gonna get. It should be fine.
Okay,
I see
it's
3/4.
It's fine.
Okay, okay, all right. So this was the room I was assigned. And you can see it's quite nice. It was the bird room. This is the view from my room. And each bedroom has their own bathroom.
Nice.
And this is the house. And that was the view. It was sunrise. And then the artwork that I created during that time, like I had told you, I was working on the idea of childhood memories. And one of the paintings that I had started thinking about 2 years ago was, my whole hometown is Catholic, and I was raised in the Catholic religion, and the Gothic Revival Church in my hometown is very specific in design. So I was using the architecture of the arch in the piece to kind of frame it out so that the people from my hometown would say, oh my gosh, that's the church in St. Joseph. And then this Christ figure, if you will, is a mural that was painted in 1972 by an artist by the name of Giuseppe Solego. He's actually Italian. And he had come and done a mural. And when I was a little girl, it was the first time in my life that I realized I wanted to do what he did. I wasn't mature enough to know that that meant being an artist, but I knew in my heart that I wanted to do what he did. And I don't know what the priest was talking about ever, but I memorized that mural inch by inch by inch. And then, of course, the reality of my world was climbing trees and walking in the cow fields and collecting tadpoles and watching ants for hours. So of course I included that. I'm starting a series on dreamscapes, the idea of childhood memories, but in the sense of a little bit of a muted sense. So that's one of the pieces. I was just having fun with my printmaking and did a dragonfly caught in a jar. Some of the things I collected, of course, my tadpoles and my dragonflies. And the title on this is Dragonflies Sew Your Lips Shut. And I had told my cousin that, and he said, do you know that I was 12 years old before I realized that wasn't true? I was like, yeah, the kids, you know, the things we tell each other as kids. So one of the things that got me into, I'm gonna come back to this. One of the things that got me into the residency was a printmaking technique called white line printmaking. And I really want to do workshops on that, but it's basically you use a wood board, you use a X-Acto knife to create V-line grooves, and then you thumbtack a registration line across your paper on top of the board, and then you paint one small section at a time in watercolor, press the paper down, use a spoon to burnish it out, and that is your print. And of course you can print it again and again and again. Well, I created another one called the Rose of Sharon, because one of the flowers that was off the balcony at our residency was this beautiful hibiscus. And so I used that as one of the images. And then this was another part of my dreamscape. It's called recurring dreams. There's two dreams that I've had since I was a little girl, one about a bear, and one is actually a reality of this dog that from grade 1 to grade 6 barked at me exactly like you see every single day. And yeah, a lot of intimidation. As you can probably guess, I don't like German Shepherds. This is another piece that I created during that time as well. I'm going to see if I can. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and share the details of the program at Kingsbrae. Can you all see that pretty well? Okay. So Kingsbrae Art Center, or Kingsbrae International Artist in Residence program, is the best way to go and to get involved with that. You can also do a screenshot if you'd like, but it's a 1-month residency. You get a free room with a private bathroom. You have breakfast and dinner provided daily. We had brunch at the restaurant every Sunday, and they brought dinner to our house from the restaurant every dinner. You get $1,000 stipend for participating in the residency. It's so great to have you +5, and it's whoever. I mean, it could be a sculptor, it could be a singer, and just to explain to you again how much they are interested in your success. One of the things they told us when we arrived is, if all you do is get ideas for what you're going to create next during this whole month, we're okay with that. We want the pressure off. And the other thing that made a big impression on me is April Aileen was our singer-songwriter, and she had some audio problems. So they basically went in there and laid down sound bars in the ceiling, put up curtains, made a sound box for her recording, put paintings behind her for her live streaming, provided her with the amphitheater to give a concert, and also did a full video for her as part of her final project. So they found the videographers, they found the set designers, they found everybody to help with the project, just because that was her request. So anything at all. My girlfriend that applied at the same time as me never finished her application. So I always teased her, because the studio that I was in had a kiln. So I was telling her that I was in her studio. You basically have access to Kingsbrae Gardens at any time, to all the amphitheater events. They had a comedian while I was there and a big band. And usually they have an event every Saturday and Sunday, but because of COVID, they only had 2. There's also a large printmaking studio and a wood shop that you have access to, but you have to reserve it. And you have to bring your own art supplies, but there is a small art supply store in town. So I'm guessing that they'll be open to residents again in 23, or at least I'm hoping that's when they'll be selecting again. But it is a panel review process. You will be, all your references will be contacted. They called all my references. There was a Skype or Zoom meeting as part of the final process. They said that there were 275 applicants and they chose 18. So that was pretty honoring and validating. So I provided an artist statement, a resume, and then I answered these questions. What do you do with your work? How do you do your work? And why would this residency be important at this time in your career? What do you expect to accomplish during this residency? How would your artistic inquiries be supported by the location? They want to know that you're going to interact with the community, that you're going to interact with the grounds, the gardens, all that. And then they ask if you would be interested in doing something when they have their Saturday from 10 to 2 visiting. So I basically gave a demonstration of that white line printmaking each time there was a guest. They don't do it the first Saturday, but they do it the last Saturdays. But it's so impressive, so fun. I got to tell you, we were working from, we'd get up in the morning and we'd have coffee and breakfast together and we'd talk about what we were going to do for the day. And then we would go to our studios and we'd work until 5:30. And then we'd go in and have dinner, have a glass of wine on the balcony, share what we had done for the day. Some people went back, some people didn't. It was just, we were going 7 days a week, but we were just pretty crazy. There were some people going down to the beach and swimming. We did a little bit of hiking up in the mountains nearby, visited a really interesting place called Minister's Island that was established by Van Horn, some big muckety muck who basically did all the Canadian Railway. And his main office was in Montreal, but he had his summer home there. So we had a train that went right to the islands, right to the end of the island. And it's that kind of place where when the tide is down, you can drive over. And when the tide is up, you can't, you have to take a boat. But he had temporary train tracks that he would put down across when the tide was down so the train could pick up supplies or drop off supplies. It was pretty, I mean, those days, I guess you could do that. But anyway, are there any questions at all that I can answer for anyone? And I can stop share if you'd like.
Leave it on. You can leave it on that image. It's perfect.
Okay.
Or you can keep sharing, whichever you want to do.
I'll stop share so I can see you more because it shrunk me down for some
Yeah.
reason. And when I was
That's
sharing,
what it does. When you
I
don't,
was like
when you're
this big.
sharing, you take over.
Yeah.
No, I think that's wonderful. It sounds like a wonderful opportunity. As far as international, since we might not be Canadian here, how
Well,
do we go about it?
Well, it is an international program. And the only reason that they made it a Canadian this summer is because they still had the border closed to the United States. And it was all because of COVID. But once the border opens again, it will be an international program again.
That would be much more difficult then to get into, I guess, because you're, a larger grouping.
Well, I mean, it's a word of mouth thing.
Mm.
And I think, to think that there were 100, how many did I say, 400? I forget how many.
I think you said 248 and out of that.
275 applicants. But if it was huge, there would have been 2,000 applicants.
Yeah.
Right? Think about
Yeah.
that. 275 is not huge. If it was huge, and with COVID, my thought is people are going to forget things. So I would really encourage you guys to apply and just be in the roster. You could apply this year, and obviously it won't open until it's going to open. Like my son lives in Shanghai, and the only way that I can see him is if I go in the summer for 2 months, which I'm not going to do ever again because it's 110 degrees there, not going to happen. Or I go in January, mid-January, mid-February during Chinese New Year. Well, it's winter there. I don't have winter clothes anymore, pretty much. So I thought about finding an artist in residence there. And they have one there called the Swatch Watch. What's a weird name? Swatch Watch Art Peace Hotel. So I thought, I'm going to try and do a residency there, and I'll be busy. And then I'll do a weekend with him here and a weekend with him there. And that'll be how I see my son. But I like the idea of being in an environment with other artists. I've never loved just going on vacation to go on vacation. So going with a purpose and then taking off for a day here and a day there and working so many hours works for my personality. So I I've always wanted to do one. And when I stepped out of my comfort zone and applied and got it, I have to tell you, it opened up something in me that went, this is amazing. Like you don't have distractions. You don't have laundry. You don't have, they clean your house every Friday. They clean your room. They wash your shower. I'm like, whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's no distractions, none. You can just go there and think and doodle and create. It's good for the soul.
Do you
It's
have a
really good for the
recommendation
soul.
on how to find reputable residencies? I mean, some of them are good, some of them aren't. I know it's word of mouth, like you said, you learn which ones are good that way. But
Mhm.
how do you personally have you acquired a list of ones that you find?
I'm starting to research now. I'm realizing that all of them are not a good fit. Some of them are very competitive and I'm not interested in competition, so I won't apply for those. I want the ones who are interested, like for instance, when I first met Mrs. Flemmer, not in the interview, just in person. She came to my studio to see how I was doing and what I was doing. And when I finally, when she was leaving, I said, Mrs. Flemmer, I just want to thank you for, and I paused and she said, for letting you do whatever you darn well feel like doing. And I went, yeah, like no pressure, just an environment to create. That's the ones I'm researching now. A healthy environment to create. Now there's all kinds, like there's one in Bali that I might try to go to just for selfish, obvious reasons to be in Bali, but that one you pay. But here's what I know about that one. It's in, I forget the little name of the town. I'll probably remember it while I'm.
If you mention the name, I might recognize the town. I've been to Bali.
Okay, it's up in the hills and it's called.
Is it in
Anyway.
Ubud? Ubud?
No. Yes.
Ubud.
Ubud.
UBUD. That's
Yes,
a great
Ubud.
town.
Ubud. Yes.
Mhm.
So that one is a residency where you pay $5 a night and you get breakfast. And if you bring someone with you, it's $7 a night. And you get a hotel room, a studio space. And so my son was on vacation with his girlfriend because he's in Shanghai. They went to Bali to just be on vacation, and they were on the beach. And I said, can you go to Ubud and give me some feedback? So he said, okay. We took a small moped and we went, and it took about 45 minutes. So it's easy to spend the day at the beach, just get a moped and go to the beach for the day. He said, so here's what I have to say about Ubud. Fresh food, monkeys, yoga, and hippies. And I went, great, I know what to wear. Cool.
Ubud is an amazing town. I went for the batik. Because
Oh,
I
did
was
you?
looking, I went to Bali because I planned a whole journey 5 years ago based on batik. So I went to Jakarta and then I went to Ubud, and there's also another residency I'm trying to check out that's in Yogyakarta, which is on the same island as Jakarta.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I was looking for the idea. I love Ubud. It's a cool town.
Yeah,
Muffy had done a talk about the whole thing, a little bit of a workshop on her trip. So if you want the link, I could show you on.
I would
YouTube.
love that. And
Watch it.
Muffy, if you decide to do some more research on residencies for batik, I would really like to participate in that.
Mhm.
When I was a little girl, I did a lot of batik, and
Mhm.
I abandoned it for painting and printmaking, but I'm such a mixed media artist. I think I could incorporate it. I think I could
Well,
use
just for an
it.
FYI, I've been taking a workshop on teaching online. So I'm going to be teaching batik workshop online probably in January.
Oh, I would love that. Yay. Okay, I'm gonna write
Yeah,
that
so
down.
send me a note. Yeah,
Okay, I will.
keep you abreast on it.
Okay,
Yeah, keep
thank
us
you,
all
Muffy.
informed, Muffy.
Yeah, it's good. I'm working with, this is a wonderful class for, you might, if you ever decide you want to start teaching online, it's called Art Class Master. And the woman who's teaching it works with Allison Stansfield. Her name is Jennifer Vigil. And it's a 12-week course, but I'm getting so much out of it right now.
Oh, okay. So this will be an online class versus an
Yeah,
in-person class?
Yeah, I'm going to be teaching in person in February if I get enough people at the Alliance in Fort Myers.
Okay, because I don't know, maybe it'd be fun to do on,
I think you'd get more out of it if you
In-person?
can attend the in-person, but it'll be in February at Fort Myers. It's going to be the weekend of the 22nd. So it'll be Friday. I think it's going to be Friday, Saturday. Wait a minute. Let me just look at my calendar real quick. I can tell you.
I don't know Florida enough yet. How close are you to St. Pete?
It's
Are you on the Atlantic side?
I'm in Naples. So
So you're not bad. Okay.
no, so it would be about an hour and a half from St. Pete. And I am teaching it the 25th, the 23rd, 25th, and 27th. It's a 3-day workshop.
23, 24, 25. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I
wait,
teach-
23
I
is a
teach-
Wednesday?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm teaching a Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday.
Okay.
And I teach a lot of the Japanese technique as well as Indonesian.
I've taken a class in Katazome
Mm-hmm. Yep.
before and loved it, but I don't
I
know
do
how to
some katazomi
incorporate-
too.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
great. I
Mhm.
love it. I love
I
all
teach you
that
how to
stuff.
cut stencils for
Okay.
katazomi.
excellent.
I do a
I
batik
use
katazomi. Mhm. I saw
I
the
use-
stenciling in the background. That's why I was interested while I was looking at your pieces. I was wondering, are you doing encaustic in any of those?
No, I use a lot of fabric and paper in my
Mhm.
pieces, and I use a lot of stenciling. And sometimes I'll use the stencil just with paint, and sometimes I'll use it with texture paste to
Okay.
have a raised edge to it.
Okay. Yeah, because
But I love
I'm going to start.
stencils.
I like stencils too. So that's part of what I teach is making batik stencils.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, so yeah, let's do some residencies, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, just to continue that idea of residencies, there's some that you pay for, there's some that are free, there's some that are highly competitive, there's some that are just interested in supporting the artists and giving you a space and a time to create, and those are the only ones I'm interested in.
Mhm.
And
But-
do you
Sounds
guys
like
have
you
any
do.
that you recommend that are reputable that to the people watching?
I'm putting together a list, so I could share that once I work on it a little bit more. But definitely Kingsbrae. I'll tell you, they will spoil the heck out of you, and they pay you free room and board and a stipend. Hello.
Wow.
Have you seen any in Japan?
I have heard of some in Japan. Who
Because I'm
was I
going to
talking
Japan
to?
in May. I'm going for a month and I'm taking a
wonderful.
workshop for 10 days, but it's just curious for future.
You know, while you're there, I wonder if there was anybody that could give you some feedback on that.
Yeah, I should email Brian, the guy who's teaching the class. He would know.
Yeah. Hey, how do you get an image to be behind your head like that?
It's called your screen backup. If you go into your preferences and you say, they give you a choice of their backgrounds, or you can upload one of your pieces to be your background.
Okay.
And it depends
So-
on how new your computer is too, because I had an older Mac and it couldn't do the screen share because it didn't have the software, but since mine's a brand new one, it allows me to do it.
All right, I'm gonna go try that after we're finished here.
The one
See if
thing,
it's
the one thing
16.
about when you have a background is if you have a background with too much busyness in the background, like on top of it, it'll break it up a lot. It'll never look like it's a smooth image. And if you're really
Oh,
close,
okay.
and if you're really close, sometimes it makes your teeth go the background.
Well,
So-
I
I think a
noticed
lot
with
of mine has
Muffy-
to do with the fact that I have a new computer. I have
Every
a-
once in a while, when you move too fast, your ear
Yeah.
has a little blur.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, it pops out. It's,
Happy, is your background plain right now? Where you are, is it plain or do you have artwork and stuff in?
behind me normally is my bookcases.
Okay.
Oh, wow. So it's the computer probably
It
because
is
Yeah,
definitely your,
yeah,
it is definitely your
yeah.
computer then.
computer
That's
because
nice.
I have uploaded different pieces of my sculptures and I cannot do the share background, you see me like a monster. You don't see me.
As I said,
Oh,
it's
Yeah.
simply a neurocomputer. That's wonderful, Muffy, because it
Super
doesn't
sharp
really do
image.
that.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I got a real souped up 27-inch iMac, so that's why it's doing what it's doing.
Excellent.
Ooh.
Excellent.
Wonderful.
Well,
Is there
Denise,
anything
I
else
want
you- I was gonna say, is there anything else you'd like to share, Denise? Are you all done with your
I
presentation?
think I'm good.
Well,
Well,
thank you
Denise,
for
I
the
want to-
information.
Denise, I want to thank you. This has been an
Mhm.
amazing presentation, so selfless
Thank
of you
you.
to give us all the information, how you got about doing this residency. The work that you produce is beautiful. And
Thank
to
you.
have felt so good about the
Mhm.
residency, I think it's fantastic. It sounds like heavenly, like
You know, you said something that reminded me of why I want to be in residencies that are about supporting the artists. I am the kind of artist, I'm now involved with NAWA, and I have been involved with the Women Painters of Washington, and you are probably going to relate to what I say. There are some artists who believe that what they do is I don't know, one of a kind in terms of never sharing anything you do. I remember asking this one artist, whoa, that is such a cool effect. How did you get that? And she went, oh, that's my technique. And I was like, do you know, I can share all day long what I do and how I do it. And at the end of the day, you're going to use whatever I give you in your own way.
Mhm.
There is no way on this planet. It's like handwriting. We all do our own thing. And that's why I don't want to go to the competitive ones, because the competitive ones have a attitude that is pushing the artists away rather than inviting the artists in. And I'm all about inviting the artists in. Let's share, let's inspire, let's be inspired. Let's encourage each other. Let's lift each other up. What else? I mean, being an artist is hard enough. We're hard enough on our own selves. You know, our own self-esteem is tied so closely to our artwork. We don't need, you know, it's hard enough. I'll end there.
Yeah, and that's exactly what NAWA Florida has always been about. It's about sharing. That's why we do these. And I thank you, Annabelle, for organizing it and getting it together, because that's what this is about. It's coming together, and there are people that work during the day, so we record it so that our members can see it online. So
Yeah,
even if they're not here now,
absolutely.
they'll see you later.
Mhm.
So
Excellent.
I thank you so
Alright.
much. If you ever
You're
want to do a
welcome.
mini workshop of what you did on your printmaking, that you
Yes, I would
showed them, I'd
love
love
to.
to see that too.
the
Yeah, I'd be
white
curious to see that. I like printmaking.
yeah, the
Yeah,
white
I
workshop,
definitely.
a mini
Yeah.
white workshop would be phenomenal. We'd love
I
to
would-
do
Yeah,
it.
we call them
That's
like
fine.
teasers. We call them like self-promoting teasers. In other words, a little bit about what yourself does to get people interested for, you know, whether they
Oh,
want to
absolutely.
attend your other shops and stuff.
Mhm.
And also a mini one, like 1 to 3 minute process, when you show the whole process from start to finish, and we can upload it on our YouTube on the NAWAFL one. That would be
Yeah,
very
I'll see
Well,
what I
if
can
you-
do.
If you go and check right now, I've been doing Instagram, I've been doing live, I've been doing videos of a piece I just finished creating. It's called Golden Gator. And I did another one. I've been doing them in time lapse so that you can speed it up, because it
Yes.
shows it that much faster. So if you have time, you know, go on my Instagram site and you'll see under videos, you'll see several of them I've done painting, showing painting
Okay.
from start to finish. That'll get you interested.
Excellent. That's a great idea. All
Okay.
right.
Well, thank you. And I guess that's it. If anyone
right.
else, any other
Thank
questions?
you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you
Take
all.
care,
That
guys.
was fantastic. What a beautiful morning.
You too.
Yes, thank you.
Inspiring. This is inspiring, relaxing.
Great, good.
Thank
We'll see you
you.
soon, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.